Hello and welcome. Ever had that daydream about winning big? You know, the life-changing phone call, the giant check? Of course you have. But have you ever thought about what comes next? Well, today we're going to answer that all-important question. Do you actually have to pay tax on prize money here in the UK? This whole discussion has been put together for you by the experts at My Tax Accountant. So let's get you some clear answers.
Okay, just picture it for a second. That incredible moment arrives. You've won. The pure joy, the shock, it's amazing. But I bet, pretty soon after, a little voice pops into your head, right? A nagging question that asks, so, how much of this do I have to give to the tax man? It's the million-pound question, sometimes literally.
Well, let's just get right to it with some fantastic news. You can breathe a huge sigh of relief because for the vast majority of prizes won in the UK, the answer is no. You don't pay tax. HMRC sees it as a one-off windfall, a stroke of luck, not income you've earned. That means it is 100% yours to keep. So, to make sure we cover all the bases, here's what we're going to walk through. We'll start with the good stuff, all those tax-free winnings. Then we'll get into the really important part, when the taxman does come calling. We'll solve the tricky puzzle of winning a property, talk about some smart moves to make after you win, and wrap up with when it's time to call in the experts.
All right, so let's dive into that first point. The main reason your lottery win is tax-free is all about how the tax system defines income. Basically, HMRC doesn't see a prize from a public competition as something you've earned through work. It's just luck. It falls completely outside the usual rules for income tax. Simple as that.
And what's really great is just how much this covers. We're talking about the huge jackpots from the National Lottery and Euro Millions, of course, but it also includes the hamper you won in a local charity raffle, any cash you might win on a TV game show, those online giveaways you see on social media, and even winnings from betting or a casino. It's all tax-free when you win it.
But, and this is a big but, that's not the whole story. This is where you really need to pay attention, because there are some crucial exceptions where HMRC will absolutely expect their share. This is where people can get caught out, and a dream win can quickly become a bit of a nightmare.
So here it is, the single most important distinction. HMRC asks one simple question. Is this prize connected to your job? If it's a personal windfall, totally random, like the lottery, you're in the clear. But if the prize is linked to your profession or your business, then it's a different story. HMRC sees that as taxable income, just like your salary.
This is a perfect example. Think about it. A freelance developer in London who wins a coding competition, well, they didn't win by pure luck, did they? They won using their professional skills. It's the same for a salesperson who wins an award for being the top performer. In these situations, the prizes are a direct result of your work. It's not a windfall, it's an earning. And that means you have to declare it on your self-assessment tax return. Okay, here's a pro tip for you. And honestly, this one catches so many people out. Let's say your big cash prize is completely tax-free. Great, but what you do with it next is what really matters. If you stick that money in a savings account, any interest it starts to earn is brand new income. And guess what? That new income is taxable. So the prize itself is tax-free, but the income from the prize is not.
Now, thankfully, most of us have something called a personal savings allowance. For the 2025 to 26 tax year, you can see that basic rate taxpayers can earn £1,000 in interest each year without paying tax. For higher rate taxpayers, that allowance drops to £500. And if you're an additional rate taxpayer, well, you don't get one at all. A big win could easily earn enough interest to blow past these limits, meaning you'll be paying tax on it.
Right, let's talk about something really exciting, but also pretty complex, winning a house. Now, stay with me here. This next part is absolutely crucial if you're ever lucky enough to win a dream home. Because the taxman doesn't just disappear once you get the keys. Oh no, that's really just the beginning of the story.
This breaks it down really simply into 3 stages. First up, the moment you win the house, good news, there's no income tax to pay on its value. But then comes step 2, and it's an immediate hurdle, stamp duty. You'll almost certainly have to pay it. And then, down the line, if you ever decide to sell that house, you could be looking at step 3, capital gains tax.
Let's put some real numbers on that. Stamp duty, or SDLT, is the tax you pay when you buy a property. And even though you won it, you're still acquiring it, so you are liable. On a house worth, say, £500,000, you could be looking at an immediate tax bill of £12,500. That's a huge, often totally unexpected cash cost you need to be ready for.
So, what happens if you decide to sell it a few years later? Well, if it isn't your main home,
Any profit you make on the sale could be hit by capital gains tax. Let's say you want it at a value of £500,000 and sell it for £600,000. That's a £100,000 gain. As you can see, basic rate taxpayers pay 18% on that profit, but high rate taxpayers pay a massive 28%. That's a potential tax bill of up to £28,000 just for selling your prize.
You see, winning a big prize isn't just about celebrating. It's about being smart and responsible with that new wealth. It's about making it work for you and your family's future. That might mean tax-efficient investments or planning for your pension. And of course, a lot of people want to share their good fortune, which brings us to a really important rule you need to know.
Okay, here's a quick did you know that could genuinely save your family a fortune. A common impulse for winners is to start giving away big chunks of money to loved ones. It's a wonderful thing to do, but you have to be aware of something called the inheritance tax 7-year rule. Basically, if you give a large gift and then pass away within 7 years, that gift could end up being taxed as part of your estate.
To put that into perspective, here's the current inheritance tax threshold. Your estate is mostly tax-free up to £325,000. Anything above that is generally taxed at a staggering 40%. A big cash prize could easily push your estate's value way over this limit, which makes getting professional advice on any large gift you want to make absolutely essential.
So, as you probably gathered by now, while the headline is "Winnings are tax-free," the reality can be way more complicated. For any significant prize, especially if it's property or a life-changing amount of cash, getting professional advice isn't just a good idea. It's an absolute necessity if you want to protect your prize and avoid any costly mistakes.
All right, let's just quickly recap the absolute key takeaways here. First, the great news. Most prizes are tax-free windfalls. Second, always remember, if a prize is connected to your job, it is taxable income. Third, winning property comes with other tax bills like stamp duty and maybe capital gains tax. And finally, be really careful about inheritance tax rules if you're planning to gift large amounts of money.
After hearing all of that, you might be feeling a bit overwhelmed or just unsure how these rules would apply to you. And that's totally normal. The big risk is that getting one of these details wrong could turn that dream-come-true moment into a really expensive tax headache. And this is exactly where the team at My Tax Accountant can step in and help. They're experts in all of this. They can help you file your self-assessment correctly for a professional price, guide you through the maze of capital gains and inheritance tax, and even help with super modern things like cryptocurrency prizes. They've got the expertise to make sure you're safe. So, if you've won something or you're just dealing with a tricky tax situation, please don't leave it to chance. The smartest thing you can do is get proper professional advice. You can reach the expert team at My Tax Accountant by calling them on 0208 570 8531, or you can drop them an email at info@mytaxaccountant.co.uk.
And for more fantastic, clear-cut advice on tax topics just like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button for the My Tax Accountant YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I really hope this has helped clear up the prize money tax puzzle for you.